The 7 most remarkable things about my Empress. 1. Her astonishing, heart-stopping beauty. 2. Wisdom beyond her years. Wisdom of the ages. 3. Her eyes. 4. Her hands. 5. Her voice, which is music and makes a poem of the ingredients of a meal. 6. Her insight, which is judgment and compassion folded together like petals of a flower. 7. No list can be long enough to extol her virtues. Then, a magnificent moment when I present her to the Empress.
Your daughter?
Yes. The preparations will be long, anxious, even terrifying, but the moment of presentation, magnificent.
Will her father be there?
My husband will of course be there. And will have been a wonderful help in the preparations.
He does have a marvellous way with fabric and colour.
And etiquette.
And there is no doubt.
There is no doubt, Saisho. Does this have to be said? My husband will not only acknowledge his daughter, he will take great pride in her upbringing and education.
Has he said as much?
He has not only said it, he has expressed it with great enthusiasm and with tenderness.
Good. And if it's a boy, if you give him a son?
That will not be.
How can you be sure?
Think of it, Saisho. It is a new purpose in my life. I watched it rise like incense from the ruin of my old life, to raise a daughter. To instill in her all the graces of the palace, music, poetry, elegance in dress and deportment, subtlety of expression and wit. Her Majesty will be delighted to call her companion.
You have had no pain for a while now.
I've had peace to reconcile myself to this ghastly process and to embrace new purpose.
I've spoken with your midwife.
Sometimes I think that woman understands this process as little as you do.
She's worried that your process is so erratic. Bouts of infernal pain that go on longer than they should, and then nothing at all for an hour at a time.
My daughter will not compose lists, as I do. She will write true poems, fine enough to shame any male scribbler in the palace.
My wife was a very clever woman, and she'd taken a buffoon for a lover. Now, if that clever lady sees her mistake, tries to rid herself of him, what might an arrogant buffoon do? And one with a lance always at hand. Are you happy enough sitting out here?
Yes. Well, it's good to sit outside. Watch the evening come.
Oh, I do it often when the weather's fine. Even when it's not fine, sit under the porch there, watch the rain, listen to it. You learn a lot about yourself, just sitting still, studying rain.
That's monkish of you.
Yeah, sometimes I might go down to the village, tavern, the whorehouse. We could do that later if you like.
I don't think so, Takashi. Not even the tavern. You don't drink like this all the time, do you?
Of course not. You can't be a serious drinker and make a farm pay. Why, can you be a lush and a lieutenant at the same time?
Not a good one. A good policeman, I mean. I haven't drunk so much since you and I were boys.
That's what we are again. Boys. Those wild boys. Yukinari and Takashi.
Were we really wild?
Oh, not really. Of course, you won't go near the whorehouse, not with a pregnant lady at home.
No, the palace isn't my home.
How did that happen? You and a palace lady.
I was sent there to look into some thefts. Lady Shonagon was assigned to teach me the ways of the palace.
Lady Shonagon? Is that what you call her? Lady?
Sometimes. She does sometimes demand it.
So there you are, Lieutenant Yukinari, and you're in the company of Lady Shonagon, looking into things. What's the next step? Don't be shy.
No, it's not that. It's just hard to explain.
Oh, try.
It was... We called it... I think it was Shonagon who first called it...
What? What? Say it.
Love-like recognition.
My, oh my. I talk like a priest, you talk like a poet.
She had a dream. There was a man in the dream she couldn't see, but she could hear his voice. In the morning she met me. It was my voice she heard. She recognised it.
Ah. Hard to explain indeed. Almost like a ghost story, but you're no ghost. And neither is she if she's carrying your child. How did that happen?
How did it happen?
You know what I mean. Lieutenant and lady. Even with the recognising thing, it couldn't have been easy to be fully together.
Well, we only have been twice.
Tell me about the first time.
Takashi!
Oh, come on. We're boys again. Those boys, Yukinari and Takashi, they tell each other everything.
It was in the Rose Valley near the Yodo River.
I know that place. I went there once with my wife before we were married. Well, our two sisters were with us, so nothing happened. Well, that's a beautiful place for the first time.
Yes?
And the second time?
I think that's enough.
You don't have to give me details.
I've no intention of giving you details.
Just tell me this. Was it inside the palace?
Almost. In the palace grounds.
Another garden. You and the ladies seem to enjoy yourselves among the flowers.
We were in a building. Maybe we should go inside now. Play a game?
Was it a gorgeous pavilion, all bedecked with ribbons and a lute playing somewhere?
It was just a kind of outbuilding. They use it for various things. Musical performances, showing animals.
Animals? That sounds like a cross between a tavern and a byre. I mean, it's not very imperial.
Well, there was a tiger in the room with us.
Oh, I have thought of something. The Emperor's tiger is dead. Well, you did ask me for any palace news.
And you tell me an animal has died?
Not just any animal. The tiger. His Majesty has ordered a week of mourning.
I grieve with His Majesty, of course, but it's not the kind of news I had in mind.
As I said, things have been quiet.
And it's hardly a surprise, is it? Last time I saw the beast, it was looking decidedly feeble and shabby. All it did was stand there on shaky legs and stare at the ground, weaving its big head from side to side.
I often wondered if it might be homesick.
You might be right. It did look woebegone.
It had almost no visitors, and people used to flock to see it.
Famous fickle.
Shonagon, about your pain. This pain you keep not having.
At the moment I have 3 pains.
You do?
Heartache, loss of dignity, and boredom.
The birth pains. They should be more regular by now. But these long periods of nothing happening. The midwife says if this goes on, the pain might go away and stay away.
And I carry this thing inside me forever. I find that as unsurprising as the death of an animal.
Don't be ridiculous. You're so early. This may have been no more than a false start. At your due time, it will begin again and finish as it should. We must pray that this is so and take all proper care of you in the meantime. Shonagon, what's wrong?
Heartache.
Oh, you'll be fine. The baby will be fine. One magnificent day you'll present your daughter to the Empress.
That beast was a noble beast. He bore the mark of a king on his brow.
The tiger?
There was a dangerous beauty in him. Those yellow, clever, dangerous eyes of his. And last time he wouldn't even lift his head to look at me. He would not meet my eye.
Oh, your cheeks will sting, Yukinari. They'll be wet and stinging with tears.
You had lots of spices.
Oh, no. The rich beauty of this fish stew will make you weep with delight. So, your lady dreamed a voice and the voice was yours. Was there any such magic when you saw her?
Not that kind of magic. Nothing ghostly.
But you recognised her?
Yes.
I can understand that. I can imagine it. Not that it happened to me. I simply knew the girl would be a fine catch. Pretty, clever, patient, strong. I knew she wouldn't be easy to land because She was so pretty and clever and...
Takashi. What's wrong? Takashi!
A fire under the pot. Flames don't even flicker.
The picture?
No burning crackle from the twigs. The door is open.
The picture in your mind?
The silk she hung doesn't move. Not the slightest stir. The go-board, stones, black and white, and piles all ready for tonight's game. Pebbles. And the still water. A black cat on a high shelf. How does it get up there? It's like ebony. The birds in their cage are paper, silk. They don't move and they don't sing. And there she is. Sitting on the bed, clutching the lance. The sharp head in her chest. Her eyes closed. Nothing moves. Then her eyes move. The lance is pulled out and her eyes open. This dead woman opens her eyes.
Keep things moving. Tobey turns on you with the lance. Keep it moving, Takashi. You struggle. You have the lance now. What then?
I kill him.
What then?
I don't understand.
Your wife and Tobey are both dead. What happens then?
Nothing much. For months, nothing much happens.
That night. What happened that night? You haven't talked about this since it happened a year and a half ago. All you've done is look again and again at that frozen picture in your mind. Maybe you have to make it move. Keep it moving. So that you can move away from it.
I did move. I walked up to the mansion house.
What did you tell them?
Simple. Your man Tobey has killed my wife, and I've killed him. What I told him was simple. And then I began to go mad. I began to run.
You ran?
I ran all the way to the goddess's pool. I sat there, watched the fish. Her fish. I knew if I didn't watch them for a while, I might never stop being mad.
Am I going mad?
Of course not.
I must be weeping for a tiger.
You are not going mad, Shonagon. Many women in your condition.
Saisho, please. You have to understand, I am not many women. I am me. But I am no longer me.
Is the pain back? It is back.
I will kill him. Never mind dangerous, beautiful eyes. I will kill him. Things I may step upon as I run to my father's arms. A fragment of silk. The black stone of a go-piece. A fish head. A blackened twig. A tuft of cat hair. The white stone of a go-piece. A feather. How many of these do I see? None, as I run to my father's arms.